The Nissan X-Trail is back. Now previously, we have sampled the e-Power variant over in Slovenia, but today we're here to try the regular petrol-powered variant as it's just launched in Australia. Chasing cars, honest reviews of your next car. Brought to you by Budget Direct. Nissan is looking to punch above its weight with this bold new X-Trail right here. And I mean, at $52,990 before on-road costs are added for the range-topping TIL variant right here, you'd kind of hope so. But before we dive into why that exactly is, let's take a look at the 3 best and the 3 not so good aspects of this new X-Trail. On the design front, the main change sits up here with the X-Trail's bold new face. And like its larger sibling, the Pathfinder, this feels very American and gives it a very intimidating look when it's coming down the road towards you. The next 2 positive points lie within this interior because it is very premium feeling. You get a large 12.3-inch infotainment system and then a matching size digital cluster, as well as a large 10.8-inch heads-up display. But then on the not so good aspects, Nissan's infotainment system doesn't actually support wireless Android Auto, so you're going to have to plug your phone in, and 7 seats aren't actually an option on either of the range-topping variants. And finally, though Nissan claims that this is an all-new engine, this 2.5 litre petrol unit feels a bit sluggish, and paired with that CVT transmission, I don't know, it's just not very inspiring. So as I mentioned before, the interior of this new X-Trail is very premium feeling, especially in this range-topping TIL variant with the Nappa leather seats. And along the same lines, there's soft touch materials, almost everywhere. And where there isn't, you get a cool kind of wood grain plastic thing that is a lot better than piano black. In terms of the amenities in here, there's a USB-C port and a USB-A port, as well as a 12-volt socket. And on the TI grade and the TIL, you get a wireless phone charger. The large 12.3-inch infotainment system, as I mentioned before, doesn't support wireless Android Auto, but it does support wireless Apple CarPlay and comes with satellite navigation. In terms of practicality, the door bins, they're large. You get a couple of cup holders here, but this center console bin isn't very practical and you're going to struggle to fit anything of substantial size in there. The premium feeling continues to the second row of this X-Trail, especially in the range-topping TIL with its Nappa leather seats. And along the same lines, it gets soft touch materials almost everywhere, and if you opt for either the TI or the TIL, you get a panoramic sunroof, and then if you opt for the TIL, you also get rear seat sunshades as standard. Along the same lines, Tri-Zone Climate Control comes in those 2 range-topping variants, and with that, you not only get air vents back here, but you also get fan speed and temperature control, as well as heated seats. In terms of amenities, backseat passengers get a USB-C and a USB-A charging port. There's this cool ski hole / pull-through thing that doubles as an armrest with 2 cup holders, and a phone holder actually. And then finally, head and legroom is actually quite decent, and although there's a bit of a raised transmission tunnel here, middle seat passengers aren't going to be too affected by it. Opting for one of the 2 X-Trails that sit at the top of the range, which includes the TI or the TIL, gets you a power tailgate, and when that opens, you get access to a total of 585 litres of space. But that's not all, because you also get Nissan's fancy boot partitioning system. Amenities are few and far between back here, but you do get a single 12-volt port sitting up here. And then beneath the boot sits a space-saver spare wheel. On the range-topping TI and TIL variants, 7 seats aren't actually an option, but opting for the ST or the STL, 7 seats actually come as a package with a 4-wheel drive system, which will set you back around $3,000 extra. When it comes to the costs of keeping this X-Trail on the road, Nissan Australia claims a combined fuel economy in these 4-wheel drive models of 7.8 litres per 100 kilometres. During testing, we found that we actually bettered this claim and ended up with 7.5 litres per 100 kilometres. In terms of a warranty, the X-Trail here is actually covered by Nissan's 5-year unlimited kilometre plan. Nissan Australia offers a capped price servicing plan for the X-Trail that covers it for up to 6 years or 60,000 kilometres. But if you're just looking for 5 years or 50,000 kilometres of coverage, then it's going to cost $2,360 with service intervals every 10,000 kilometres or 12 months. Over the last 12 months, the median Budget Direct customer paid $863 to comprehensively insure their new Nissan X-Trail. Your premium may vary based on things that insurers take into account, such as your age, driving history, where you live, and whether or not you garage the car. So aside from that e-Power variant, just one engine option is available in the X-Trail in Australia, and it's a 2.5 litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder petrol engine that makes 135 kilowatts and 244 newton meters of torque. As standard, this engine is paired with a CVT transmission that either sends power to the front wheels or all four wheels depending on which variant you end up buying. In the entry-level ST or STL variants, buyers have the option of either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, whereas at the top of the range, in the TI and the TIL, all-wheel drive is standard. If I'm honest, this engine, it's a bit uninspiring to use. Nissan claims that it's all new, but there's something about a naturally aspirated engine that's rather large displacement for a four-cylinder in 2022 that feels a bit old-fashioned, and it's a little sluggish to use, especially when paired with that CVT transmission that just feels a little vague. In the CVT's defense, it is kind of stepped, so you somewhat feel like you're using a traditional automatic transmission as it makes attempts to change gears. And along the same lines, the X-Trail comes standard with shifter paddles behind the steering wheel, so you can pretend like you're shifting ratios, I guess. But despite the uninspiring nature of the powertrain, the power and torque is there, and though Nissan hasn't given us a 0 to 100 time, it doesn't feel overly slow. It's also worth noting that Nissan recently dropped the naturally aspirated 2.5 litre engine in America in favour of the 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbocharged engine that makes 14 extra kilowatts. One element of the drive this X-Trail provides that I was genuinely impressed by was the steering, because for a mid-size SUV that isn't overly driver focused, it is very direct, and you do feel a bit of road feedback through the steering wheel. And along the same lines, when traction levels go haywire, it is communicated through the steering wheel, so I give kudos to Nissan for that. The ride is okay. I mean, it's not going to win any awards anytime soon, but it's nice and the family won't be complaining. Over rough roads, it can feel a bit fidgety and you do get a bit of movement in the neck and the shoulders, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad at all. And as you'd expect, traction almost is never an issue in these all-wheel drive models at least. In the front-wheel drive models, off the line you can get a bit of wheel spin, but due to the nature of how CVT works, it's pretty good. As a whole, this new Nissan X-Trail is a very impressive vehicle, but I can't help but feel that stunning new exterior and even better interior is slightly let down by an old-fashioned feeling four-cylinder engine that's paired with a bit of a sluggish CVT transmission. This would have been remedied by bringing the X-Trail into Australia with a turbocharged 1.5 litre 3-cylinder engine that the American market gets, but at this stage it seems that that engine is only reserved for e-Power models that are coming next year. Despite this, if you're looking for a well-rounded, handsome, nice to use, family-friendly, mid-sized SUV, you aren't going to be disappointed by this new Nissan X-Trail. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, and while you're down there, be sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching Chasing Cars.